I recently set up a survey to investigate the well-known link between early childhood exposure to books and reading for pleasure and the development of what I term a reader. That is someone who reads books regularly for pleasure and enjoyment. According to numerous studies, children who are read to from an early age go on to be more successful in their school career. For example, the 21 Nation study conducted by Evans et al. States that children growing up in homes with many books get 3 years more schooling than children from bookless homes, independent of their parents' education, occupation, and class. I posted up a Google form questionnaire about reading habits to my Facebook page and asked my friends and family to complete. I was very pleased to gain 33 responses. I asked respondents to tell me if they could remember being read to as a young child under 5 years of age. 90% of respondents said that they did remember this. Lots of family members were mentioned as taking part in this reading process, from mums and dads to grands, aunties and older siblings. It seems that for my respondents, reading to children was a real family affair. One respondent also mentioned the importance of listening to stories on the radio as a small child. Just under 76% of respondents said that they could name a favourite childhood book. Classics such as Where the Wild Things Are, Frog and Toad, Winnie the Pooh, and The Tale of Two Bad Mice were all mentioned, along with older children's books such as Stig of the Dunk, Little Women, Famous Five, and The Borrowers. Just under 89% of respondents said that they remembered their parents or other important family members reading within their home as a child. A wide range of reading materials were mentioned, including newspapers, romance novels, non-fiction books and biographies. Specific examples of parents always reading at bedtime were given, and one respondent mentioned that their father regularly received books as part of a postal book club service. Another mentioned that their parents weren't involved in reading at home, but that their teachers at school encouraged it. Interestingly, a significant percentage of respondents were unsure if they liked the books they were given to read during elementary school, with 30% being unsure. A further 15% remembered not liking them, with just over half at 54% being able to say that they did like these books. This figure remains fairly stable for respondents' middle and high school book experiences, with almost 20% answering that they did not like the text given to them to read by their teachers, and a further 24% being unsure. Respondents who were able to name the books that they did enjoy during these years mentioned many classics such as Kestrel to a Knave, Animal Farm, The Great Gatsby, Lord of the Flies, and Carrie's War. My penultimate question was to ask whether respondents consider themselves to be a reader now. Just over 80% did, while just under 20% did not. Reasons given for not being a reader were a difficulty reading due to dyslexia, a lack of time, reading only for required information rather than pleasure, preference for films, and a difficulty getting the motivation to read. Just over half of all respondents stated that they read more than 7 books a year, while 10% stated that they would read none. It is interesting that 90% of respondents were read to as small children, 88% recall significant adults in their household reading, and 76% had a favourite childhood book. These are high figures and suggest that the majority of respondents had a good start to their reading careers. Scores drop off significantly when we get to book provision at school, where books seem to have made much less of a memorable impact, as a large percentage of respondents, 24 to 30%, were unsure if they liked the book choices or not, with a further 15 to 18% being clear that they did not like the book choices. It makes me wonder how much of an impact this had on the findings that just under 20% of respondents did not consider themselves to be a reader. Do schools need to reflect more on book choices? Should reading for pleasure and enjoyment be given a higher priority in our schooling systems? Should student choice of text be given more weight when selecting books? Further research is definitely needed. It is also worth bearing in mind that this small study relied on people opting to take part, and further research in a variety of communities would provide more robust results. In the meantime, we can see a strong correlation between early childhood experiences and adults identifying themselves as readers, with over 80% of respondents stating that they consider themselves to be a reader. Quotes gained were, "I read every day in life. I can't imagine life without books. I read for pleasure, interest, and growing my brain. I love reading and always have. Library goer, read on bus, on way to work, and going along the street." Many thanks for taking the time to listen to this presentation.
Created using Powtoon.